finally did it. Since 2006, I've been telling people that I've been going to buy a bagger. When the Street Glide came out, clear back in 2006, I've been going to buy a bagger. It's been on the top of my bucket list. It's been on the top of my list of things to do. It's been all over my social media. It's been all over my conversations with my friends and family and my wife. I think I've driven her half nuts for the past 10 years. And I finally took the plunge, and I couldn't be more excited about it. So here it is, my 2021 Indian Challenger base model. I think it's the best looking one without spending $30,000. Yeah, it's very similar to the limited model with the black and chrome. So it's, I guess, as equally good looking as the Challenger limited, minus the crash bars and a few of the other accessories and goodies that come on the limited. But for the money, I saved $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 over buying the limited, and to me that money will go a long way into other things such as exhaust and stage 1 download, and eventually a Lloyd's 2-into-1 pipe in the Lloyd's tune or the RVS tune or whatever it is I decide to go with, but that won't be probably till the springtime. I've already made it a little bit my own with the Tab Zombie baffled BAM sticks. I have a set of KST handlebars over on my workbench that I'll be having installed next week, and I'll be done for the year. Winter here in Ohio is rapidly approaching, so riding and accessorizing will have to take a break for the winter and pick up next spring. But it's a 2021 base. I bought it, had 1,200 miles on it, and I've already got almost 2,000 on it. I've had it for about 11 or 12 days, so I've been riding a little bit. I haven't done a trip on it. I'd like to get one in before the cold weather gets here, so maybe soon I'll be able to hit Tail of the Dragon, or maybe even take it back to the mountains of Pennsylvania where I'm from and do some ridge running back there. But so far I've been riding it through north central and northeast Ohio, just loving every minute on it, and I'm excited as all get out to talk about it and to ride it and to make it my own and post some videos here on social media about it. And let's do just that. Let me get my helmet rigged up and get on the road with this sucker. Yeah, I think it's easy to say that I absolutely love this motorcycle. I can't really explain it to people just what it means to me, because it's more than just the suspension, the ride, the handling, that wonderful Power Plus engine, the phenomenal wind protection that this fairing gives me. It's more than just the machine. This is like the culmination of me winning a heavyweight title fight, something I had trained for my whole life, something I had prepared mentally and emotionally for 16 years, finally coming into reality for me. And to say that it's just the bike that makes it all the while worth it is a huge understatement. And I will say that it's not just the bike, because 2 days before I bought this, I had taken a day and shopped all over the Northeast Ohio area at Harley dealerships, because had I found a used Road Glide in the price range that this Challenger was sold to me in, I would have bought a Road Glide. So it's not just the fact that I bought a Challenger that makes me as fulfilled as I am. It's the fact that I bought something that I've identified myself with for many, many, many years. I know that my wife thinks she understands how important it was to me, and some friends and other relatives and co-workers, I think they say, yeah, you know, they totally get just what this bike means to me, but they don't, because it is an achievement or a status or whatever you want to describe it as. I don't know if there's a better word in my vocabulary to describe it, but this is something that I have dreamed of for many years and pictured myself on, and gone to dealership open houses and test ride events. Heck, I even worked at a Harley dealership in Akron for a summer just so I could be close to the culture. Back when I couldn't afford it, it was still something I saw myself doing and being, and someone who identified with it. So I've always saw myself as this person, until really the past 5 years it was not much more than a pipe dream. So being able to climb the ladder and make this purchase is something that I feel like a personal achievement, and I couldn't be more excited about it. But really, let's talk about the bike a little bit. This is the base model, as I mentioned earlier. I did put Tab Zombies on it, but I kept the Cat on the bike. The catalytic converter system is still on the bike, and to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know that I'm going to take it off, because to me it's got a really good sound to it. I don't know if any of this is coming through the mic, but I can tell you it's got a great sound and it's plenty loud. So it may just stay on here. The only way that Cat will probably come off is if I do get the Lloyd's 2-in-1 and Special Sauce tune. But for now, the Tab Zombies will work with the stock pipes. I may run to Bears Power Sports in North Canton and get a Indian Stage 1 just to help balance out that tune a little bit better, because right now it's just bone stock with new mufflers on it. I don't think it will hurt anything because I didn't change the intake whatsoever, but I still think, to be a little on the safe side, I will get the Stage 1 download from Indian. So other than the KSTs that I'm having put on next week, I think the bike is about as perfect as possible when it comes to ergonomics for me. I am 6'3", 250 pounds. I'm not a little guy. I got fairly proportionate body when it comes to the length of my torso versus the length of my lower half of my body. And my legs are at a comfortable bend. My feet rest comfortably on the front 2/3 of the floorboards, where I can grab the shifter and the brake without barely having to reposition my feet or my legs at all. Even these stock handlebars, had I not bought the KSTs the same day I bought the bike, I may not have bought the KSTs after riding it for almost 1,000 miles like this now. I did ride it home, and in the same day I grabbed the 6mm Allen key and loosened up the riser clamp bolts, and I rolled the handlebars up about an inch or two. I rolled them forward to where when the bars are turned, they're just barely not touching the inner fairing. So I don't think it was 2 inches up, but it was probably a little more than an inch, and it gave my hands just enough height to be right about my heart level, and I could ride all day like this. The ergonomics of this motorcycle, with the handlebars raised up as high as they'll go and are absolutely perfect for a person my size. So if you're 6'3" or so and you're trying to save a few dollars, roll your handlebars up on one of these and give it a shot. You'll probably be very satisfied with it ergonomically. As far as wind protection goes, I won't make any changes to this bike. I see lots of people go out and buy windshields for it. I'm not real sure why. Lots of guys who are shorter than me going out and buying windshields that are several inches taller than this factory tall windshield, and I don't really get why. When I brought this bike home from Columbus 10 days ago, 12 days ago, it was raining, and I forgot to pack rain gear because where I live was sunny and beautiful, kind of like it is right now, but 100 miles south, it was raining. But I decided to, jump on the bike and roll with it, and I rode it 100 miles home, and 20 miles of that was steady rain. It wasn't downpouring, it wasn't thunderstorms, it was just a slow, steady rain. And the only thing that got a little bit wet was from my shin to my toes. Everything from my knees to the top of my head barely got any water on it. The face shield on my helmet, I would occasionally take my left hand and wipe some raindrops off of it, but I stayed dry. And then a day or two after I got it home, I wanted to take it out and show some buddies of mine, and I rode it another 30, 40, 50 miles and got caught in the rain twice. And again, the only thing that got wet on me that day, was my shins. Now, my shins and my feet did get soaked that day, but everything else stayed dry. And for the life of me, I don't know why someone needs a taller windscreen than what's on here, unless maybe you're 6'6" or something. But with the stock windscreen all the way up, as you see in front of me here, is absolutely perfect. And I think that I'll just be keeping it the way it is. I absolutely love it. The rear Fox shock does a phenomenal ride. The inverted front end on here is better than anything I've ever experienced on a motorcycle. I really thought before I bought this that it was going to be identical to my Victory Kingpin. Some of you may or may not have watched my older videos where I showcase my Victory Kingpin, and one of my big brags on that motorcycle was the suspension. It's got the monoshock rear end. It's not Fox, but it's a monoshock rear end, and it's got an inverted front set of forks. I don't know what Indian or Polaris or whoever you want to call it did to this bike, but the suspension on it is so phenomenally better than my Victory that you can't even compare them. This bike's suspension is marvelous. It's so confidence inspiring that it makes you want to ride it faster and push it through the curves. Then there's the engine. It's so nice. Man, I just bragged to my Harley buddy that it just makes me want to ride fast, like all the time. Like, I find myself looking down at the speedo everywhere I'm at, and I'm at 85 miles an hour, and I don't even try. It's not even breathing heavy. I'm not even trying to drive this thing that fast. It just goes fast everywhere. So the motor is world class. The suspension is world class. The ergonomics are phenomenal. The seat is great. It's just a bone stock seat, but I'll tell you, for a guy, I consider myself on the bigger side, 250 pounds or so, I could ride this thing all day long and not have any sore spots or hot spots on this seat. I don't know that I'll ever change it unless I wear it out. I absolutely love this machine. It looks great. The ergonomics are perfect. The wind protection is the best I've ever experienced. And it has power for days. So I ride along these 2-lane roads here, intersections, stop signs, some gravel kicked out on the road, slowing down and for obstacles and stuff. I find myself shifting fairly often. And one more compliment I can't talk too much about is the ease of the clutch. It feels like it has a hydraulic pull. It is so light that it almost feels as like you're not even pulling in a clutch lever. It almost feels like you're not even pulling anything. It's so light. It kind of has a hydraulic feel to the engagement too. When you're releasing the handle up here, it has a very soft engagement. Some people would say they don't like that, but I challenge anybody to ride for 200 plus miles a day and tell me that this isn't one of the finest clutches you've ever ridden with on a motorcycle. It is that nice. I get on my Victory after riding this thing, and the Victory's clutch is so heavy that it almost feels like I can't pull it. And I'm a big guy. I have done manual labor most of my life. I work out. I'm pretty strong. So it's not like I'm a wimp. And when I grabbed the clutch on the Victory after riding Victories since 2012 for 10 years now, it feels like an antique. It's kind of a shame, to be honest with you, because it's gotten me thinking that Victories aren't as good of a machine as I've been telling myself and the world that they are. I suppose it's just about 10 years plus worth of technology from the 2011 Victory Kingpin I own to the 2021 Indian Challenger. The technology has grown so rapidly that you can't even compare these two machines. If I bought a Penske or even a Fox Racing shock and put on my Kingpin, put a really nice fixed fairing like a wedge fairing or something like that on there, that bike still wouldn't ride or handle anywhere near as fantastic as this Challenger does. It just won't. And it's disappointing in a way because I still love the Kingpin, but coincidentally it is for sale. If you know anybody who's looking for a good starter bike, a good bike to learn to ride on, I got it reasonably priced on Cycle Trader. Hit me up. And the only reason I'm really selling it is because I just don't have the room for it in my garage. I got to make room for this. So, although it's not as comfy and as world class as this Challenger, it's still a phenomenal bike. So, anyway, thanks for letting me ramble and hearing me brag about how much I am enthralled with my new purchase. And for the record, I would probably be just as enthralled had I bought a new or very lightly used Road Glide. The Road Glide's a really, really good bike too. The only thing it kind of lacks on compared to this, in my opinion, as far as the way it rides, is the suspension. And Harleys are all buildable. Like, there's so much aftermarket out there for Harleys that you could make it be dang near as good as this bike is. But dollar for dollar, this bike is already where I would have to build the Harley too. That's the one benefit about riding Indian, is that you get this bike with a Fox Racing rear suspension and an inverted front end that would cost you $10,000 to put on a Harley to make it ride and handle like this. So the benefit is there just from a money standpoint. But I don't hate Harleys. I love Harleys. They make a beautiful bike. The Road Glide's super awesome. And again, had I found the Road Glide for what I paid for this, I would have bought the Road Glide and never even found this bike. But the way the world works and the way fate works, that wasn't to be had, and this just kind of fell into my lap. And I thank God above for putting me in a position to be able to afford it. I thank my wonderful, beautiful wife for being accepting of it. From a woman that doesn't even enjoy motorcycles. She's scared to ride. She's scared of traffic and doesn't like being exposed to the dangers of being on a motorcycle. She knew how important it was to me, and I will be forever grateful for her being happy for me to do this. It really, really makes me grateful to her. looking forward to making more videos, guys. I want to get better at this. I'm very primitive with my video style, but I'm hoping to get some subscribers and get a following here a little bit, so it'll inspire me and push me to do better. I'm not dumb, I'm just inexperienced with video editing, but the more people that jump on board here, it will get better. I'll get better at this for you guys and for myself. But you know, how about if you've stuck it out this far, let me throw this out there, to subscribe to this channel, like the video, make a comment, tell me what you think about the Challenger. If you own one, give me some advice. I'll look for you out on the road. Maybe we can ride together sometime. Would love to ride to Sturgis next year, or love to bring the bike down to Daytona in February or March, whenever it is, whenever Daytona Bike Week is down there, and get some sun in the middle of winter up here. Would be a great experience. I would love to get more involved with Indian and the brand and become like a brand ambassador. I know those are all lofty goals for the guy that struggles to edit videos, but I can talk to people and I could sell bikes and I could convince people that this brand and this motorcycle and these motorcycles are the brand to choose. And I look forward to doing it all. It really, really has me excited for what the next chapter in my life is with this motorcycle and this brand. So, like, share, subscribe, comment on the video, and hopefully I'll see you in a few days to a week with some new content.